Hey, you guys, many of you have been blessed by my video shorts, and I appreciate each and every single one of you and the journey that you have taken along with me and the comments that you leave below. I want to encourage and share with you all that God is calling me to go deeper with longer videos so that I can share a little more about what it might look like in my life and how it might help you. So I pray that it blesses you, and we're getting ready to start right here, right now. So today's topic I want to share with you guys is when you feel unqualified for your calling. When you feel unqualified for your calling, has that or does that sound familiar? So, can I let you know that as a wife and as a mother and as a woman who speaks and encourages people, I do not always feel that I am ready for what it is that God is asking me to do. And if that resonates with you at all, I encourage you to stick around as we dive a little bit deeper. So, the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is that there is an honesty about the struggle is real. You guys have heard that line, right? The struggle is real. Just because you are called doesn't mean that you are confident already. In fact, it's quite the opposite. A lot of us might think that, oh, I'm ready to go because God's told me what it is that I'm supposed to do next. But you don't have the blueprint. You don't know what it is that He is fully telling you, but He is giving you the instruction to go. Stick with me. So, in fact, it usually feels quite opposite of that, you guys. So, for me, when I first heard God tell me what He wanted me to do, I said, am I enough? I said, why me? I was like, what if I mess this up? And then the last but not least is Tiffany Chanel Speaks. God asked me to do this years ago. In fact, it was 5 years ago. And I started it and then I quit. So I was like, what if I just do this again and I don't get it off the ground like you've asked me to do? What if I'm not enough? What if I fail it? And that's exactly where it is that God said, I want to meet you right here. I still have those questions that come up for me, you guys. I still wonder, am I enough? Do I have the capacity? Do I have what it takes? And that's exactly where the Holy Spirit met me. And just as I shared that with you, I heard try again. So we're going to pause for intermission here. I want to encourage you guys that if there is something that God has placed on your heart or He has given you instruction to do, He is asking you to try again. If you have heard His still small voice, He is speaking, and you need to go to prayer with Him about what the provision on your life looks like for what it is that He is calling you to do. All right. Pause, break over. We're going to keep it going. That was a turning point for me, you guys. That was a turning point for me because as I was sitting in my living room, I remember sitting on my couch and I remember the instruction that God had given me. And He told me a timeline back in 2025, not the 5 year mark ago that He told me. He said, I need you to go at it again. And that was my turning point. And I actually hadn't even started to do what God told me to do. I was 5 days late. I don't know what the number five keeps coming up. It's usually the sign of divinity. But I didn't do it again. And I was like, I have to get this going. I've got to push this out. And so, what I want to share with you about what that taught me, I have three things in this area I want to tell you about, share with you about the struggle being real. The first is when I said yes to God, God grew me as I continued to speak. God grew me as I continued to speak. The second is that God strengthened me as I obeyed. And the third was God shaped me as I showed up. So, what did that teach me? It taught me that God wasn't waiting for things to be perfect. He was waiting for me to be available to Him. Your yes is connected to whatever it is that God has for your promise over your life. So let's keep going, you guys. The next thing I want to share about is what encouragement I have for you about that journey, about when you feel unqualified and what I am learning. And I have 5 things that I want to share with you about that. The first is your calling will always feel too big at first. Your calling will always feel too big at first. And what does that mean? That means that what it is that God is asking you to do is bigger than you. When God decides to use you, people are always connected to it. your gifts, your talents, someone and something is meant to be used by what you have gone through or what you are learning. So it's bigger than you. Number two, God never asks for perfection, but he asks for your willingness. You guys may have heard in my shorts that God is looking for a willing vessel. And I said, Lord, I want to be a willing vessel. I'll pause here right quick, you guys. You got to be careful what it is that you pray for, because when you pray for something, you do not know how God is going to use you for that prayer that you prayed for. That's a whole nother story, y'all, on another day. It's not about be careful what you pray for, but you got to be ready for what it is that you prayed for. Okay. So number three is obedience is what builds confidence. Obedience is what builds confidence. So I mentioned to you guys earlier that just because you're called doesn't mean that you have the confidence already. It's when you say yes and when you take the steps each and every single day to do what God's calling you, he grows you. And that is where you start building like, oh, you know what? I think I can do this. I know that I can do this. And with God on your side, you can do anything. Nothing is impossible for him. Nothing at all. And you are not impossible for him. No matter how dark it seems, no matter how hard the journey looks, no matter how ugly the circumstance is, God can still use you. And the last one I want to share with you guys is that your journey is your ministry. I am ministering to you all right now, and it doesn't look perfect all the time to me, or it doesn't look great all the time to me, but I'm here and I am showing up. And just as I shared with you guys earlier, I appreciate the journey that you have taken with me so far. So the last thing I want to close out with you guys is if this has spoke to you in any way, I want you to put it in the comments about what hit home for you in this video alone. And I want to also let you know that if this is the season of God, why me that you are in, I want to let you know that you are not alone. I am still asking that question. But as I have been going along in the journey, it is continually unfolding. And I'm just waiting for the story and each chapter to keep up. What's next, Lord? What's next, Lord? All right, I'm here right now, and I'm going to keep walking with you, even though I do not understand it. Okay? And then the last thing that I want to remind you all is that God does not qualify. I'm sorry, God qualifies the called. God qualifies the called. And you, my friend, are called. I don't know what yours is, but just walk with him and he will continue to show you. I am excited. I just finished my first long form video, Faith Talks with Tiff, with you guys, and I so appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share to anyone you feel may need a word of encouragement. And as always, you guys, be blessed.